Looking for a fright you can dive into today? These PS5 horror games deliver intense scares, eerie worlds, and unforgettable moments of pure terror. Let's get into it. Madison is pure psychological horror that feeds on your nerves. You play as Luca, a terrified teen trapped in his family home and hunted by a demonic force. Armed only with a Polaroid camera, you'll snap photos to reveal clues, solve disturbing puzzles, and uncover truths you wish you hadn't. Every flash might expose something lurking in the dark, and the house itself seems alive. Walls shift, corridors change, and reality breaks apart around you. The sound design is haunting, with creaks, whispers, and sudden noises that keep you constantly tense. Madison doesn't rely on cheap jump scares. It builds dread through atmosphere, clever design, and psychological tension that leaves you afraid to even blink. Visage delivers that PT-style horror in full, slow, tense, and deeply disturbing. You're trapped in a dark, eerie house where every sound feels like a warning and every hallway hides something watching you. There's no map, no clear goal, and barely enough light to survive. Candles, flashlights, and lighters are your only safety, but when they run out, your sanity fades, and that's when the real terror begins. The house changes as you explore. Mirrors turn into doorways, and whispers and footsteps keep you on edge. It's hard, unpredictable, and incredibly creepy. Visage doesn't just scare you while you play, it stays with you long after you stop. Amnesia. The bunker throws you into a terrifying World War I nightmare, a dark, crumbling bunker where a relentless creature hunts your every move. You're a stranded French soldier armed with little more than a hand-cranked flashlight and a revolver that barely feels like protection. Every sound matters here. Running, reloading, or even breathing too loud can alert the stalker, forcing you to think before every step. Powering the generator keeps the lights on, but fuel is scarce, and once it runs out, the bunker becomes pitch black, and that's when the real horror begins. With its open-ended design and dynamic AI, the game turns every moment into a fight for survival. No scripted scares, just pure, unpredictable dread.
Don't fight the process. I'll learn you all.
The Outlast Trials takes the series' trademark horror and cranks it into multiplayer madness. You and up to 3 friends are unwilling test subjects in a twisted Cold War experiment, thrown into brutal trials filled with traps, puzzles, and psychopaths who want you dead. With no weapons, survival depends on stealth, teamwork, and sheer panic as you hide in lockers, revive allies, or scramble for keys while maniacs scream nearby. Each trial feels like a horror film, from blood-soaked orphanages to deranged carnivals, blending terror with dark humor. It's intense, chaotic, and hilarious in the worst way, even if the limited maps and objectives make it lose steam after a while.
You presented yourself.
Until Dawn is a stylish, self-aware love letter to classic horror movies that's as ridiculous as it is entertaining. Set in a remote mountain cabin where 8 archetypal teens gather for a night of poor decisions and creeping dread, it embraces every slasher cliché imaginable and somehow makes them work. The game shines through its choice-driven system, where every decision can mean life or death, and its cinematic presentation captures the tension of being hunted in the dark. While its story loses focus in the second half and the scares often give way to laughs, Until Dawn remains a fun, atmospheric thrill ride that rewards curiosity, recklessness, and quick reflexes in equal measure.
Stop it!
Alien Isolation nails the eerie tension of Ridley Scott's Alien, trapping you on Sevastopol Station as Amanda Ripley, hunted by a relentless xenomorph that reacts to every sound and movement. Every creak feels like a threat, every save point a desperate relief. Its retro-futuristic design, flickering lights, and haunting soundscape create a suffocating atmosphere that defines survival horror at its best. Early on, it's near-perfect, nerve-shattering, smart, and deeply immersive. but its long 15-hour runtime drags, with repetitive objectives and backtracking that dull the fear. Still, it remains a haunting, visually stunning experience, a masterful recreation of Alien's world that lingers long after the credits roll. Returnal is a brutal and mesmerizing sci-fi roguelike that traps you in an endless time loop on the hostile planet of Atropos. As Celine, a stranded astronaut haunted by visions of her past, you'll battle through waves of alien creatures in fast, punishing combat that demands precision and adaptability. Its haunting atmosphere, fluid gameplay, and narrative hidden within each cycle create a relentless rhythm where every failure fuels discovery, turning chaos, loss, and survival into pure, heart-pounding momentum. Demon's Souls rises again on PlayStation 5, completely rebuilt by Bluepoint Games to redefine what a true next-gen remake can be. Every swing, parry, and dodge feels weighty and precise, capturing the brutal elegance that made the original a legend. The shattered kingdom of Boletaria has never looked more terrifying or beautiful, a world of fog-drenched castles, rotting swamps, and fire-scorched ruins teeming with merciless enemies and unforgettable bosses. Each of the 5 realms delivers its own brand of dread, testing your skill, patience, and nerve. With jaw-dropping visuals, seamless performance, and near-instant load times, this is the definitive way to experience the game that started it all, reborn, relentless, and utterly magnificent. Alan Wake 2 is a masterful fusion of psychological horror and detective mystery that grips you from the first moment. You play as FBI agent Saga Anderson, investigating a string of eerie ritual murders in Bright Falls, and as Alan Wake, a writer trapped in the shifting nightmare of the Dark Place. Saga's sections deliver tense, investigative storytelling where piecing together clues feels deeply satisfying, while Alan's chapters plunge you into surreal, reality-bending horror filled with clever, light-based puzzles. Combat blends strategy and fear with breathtaking visuals, chilling sound design, and layered, cinematic storytelling. Alan Wake 2 stands as a bold, terrifying triumph of modern horror.
The place is full of nothing but blood and death.
Resident Evil Village drags you deep into a frozen European nightmare filled with werewolves, vampires, and grotesque terrors lurking behind every door. You play as Ethan Winters on a desperate mission to rescue his kidnapped daughter, navigating a cursed village ruled by monstrous lords from the elegant yet terrifying Lady Dimitrescu to the maniacal Heisenberg. The game perfectly fuses the tension and first-person horror of Resident Evil 7 with the explosive action of Resident Evil 4, with jaw-dropping visuals, relentless pacing, and an atmosphere thick with dread. Resident Evil Village is a masterclass in survival horror, brutal, cinematic, and unforgettable. Resident Evil 7 Biohazard boldly reimagines the long-running series with a first-person perspective that trades bombastic action for claustrophobic terror, and it mostly pays off. Set in the decaying Dulvey plantation, the game's eerie atmosphere and disturbing Baker family make it the most unsettling Resident Evil since the original mansion. Exploration, scavenging, and resource management return to the forefront, grounding the experience in survival horror tension. However, the puzzles are disappointingly simple, enemy variety is lacking, and the story leans too heavily on hillbilly horror tropes. Still, its creepy environments, tense encounters, and effective blend of mystery and dread make it a thrilling revival of classic Resident Evil spirit, one that feels both like a fresh start and a respectful nod to its roots.
Leon.
Get down! Come on! I'll be there!
Resident Evil 2 is the gold standard of remakes, a perfect blend of nostalgia and modern terror. Capcom rebuilds the 1998 classic from scratch with the RE engine, transforming the familiar Raccoon City Police Department into a dark, claustrophobic maze dripping with tension and gore. Every zombie encounter is brutal, forcing you to make every bullet count, while the looming presence of the tyrant keeps you constantly on edge. The sound design amplifies the fear, with creaking floors, distant screams, and heavy footsteps closing in. Leon and Claire's overlapping campaigns slightly weaken replay value, but the game's visuals, pacing, and craftsmanship more than make up for it. It's survival horror perfected.
Stop! You'll never get the G-Virus! Sure, come on!
Resident Evil 4 Remake is a stunning reinvention of a survival horror classic, turning one of gaming's most iconic adventures into a modern masterpiece. You play as Leon Kennedy on a relentless mission to rescue the president's daughter, battling through cursed villages, haunting castles, and grim laboratories teeming with grotesque enemies. Every encounter is a tense dance of precision and power, from tight gunplay and brutal melee counters to perfectly timed parries that keep you on edge. With cinematic visuals, refined combat, and reimagined boss fights that elevate every moment, Resident Evil 4 Remake doesn't just revisit a legend, it redefines it, setting a new gold standard for horror.
Some missing, señorita?
Silent Hill 2 Remake plunges players back into one of gaming's most unsettling towns, now more oppressive and nightmarish than ever. You play as James Sunderland, searching for his missing wife in a fog-choked world, where every shadow hides danger. Combat is overhauled with smooth dodges, precise aiming, and destructible environments, turning encounters with grotesque monsters into tense, strategic challenges. Twisted puzzles, reimagined boss fights, and a suffocating atmosphere heighten the dread. With haunting visuals, eerie audio, and a story steeped in horror and heartbreak, this remake honors the original while delivering terror to a new generation.
Wait!
It's okay! We don't want to hurt you!
The Dead Space remake is a stunning revival of one of the greatest sci-fi horror games ever made. You play as Isaac Clarke, an engineer trapped aboard the eerie USG Ishimura, fighting through grotesque necromorphs in flickering, blood-soaked corridors. Motive Studio rebuilt everything from the ground up: lighting, sound, and gore, making every step feel tense and claustrophobic. Combat still revolves around strategic limb cutting, now enhanced with smoother controls, upgraded visuals, and new zero-gravity freedom. The fully voiced Isaac adds emotional weight, while expanded side missions deepen the story. The Last of Us Part 1 rebuilds Naughty Dog's iconic masterpiece from the ground up on PS5, delivering stunning visuals, lifelike animations, and meticulous attention to detail. Every texture, reflection, and facial expression comes alive, creating the most immersive experience yet. The DualSense controller amplifies every moment, from the tension of reloading a weapon to the rhythm of a horse's gallop, while smarter AI and smoother movement make gameplay feel more natural and engaging. Though it omits the original multiplayer and isn't a radically new take, this remake stands as the definitive way to experience one of gaming's most powerful, emotional stories, a journey that still resonates deeply today.